Good morning, everyone. How are you? Hope everyone's doing really well today. Happy Tuesday. We're on to Tuesday now. And sometimes it's hard for me to keep track of what day it is anymore. But today I want to talk about why am I hungry at night? It's a huge topic, right? A lot of us get these cravings at nighttime, after dinner, or just before bed. So also because of that, I wanted to, hey, Brona, how are you? Thanks for coming on. So because of that, I wanted to spotlight what I put in my coffee this morning, which is my Slim and Sassy. This is an awesome oil. Hope you can see that. Awesome essential oil. It boosts your metabolism. It's a great I can't say that word, proprietary blend. And it combines like all these powerful essential oils that are really known to just promote like this healthy metabolism for you, especially when it's ingested, which is why I just put a couple drops in my coffee. And it's really flavorful. I really like the flavors because it's got peppermint, it's got lemon, it's got ginger, cinnamon, and grapefruit, which is probably why I love it so much, because I love all these flavors, especially the cinnamon. So what it does is, like I said, it helps to just promote a healthy metabolism for you when you take it internally, and it can also help you to manage your cravings when you take it with some water. So sometimes I will put it in my water. Actually, in the mornings, I'll usually just put a couple drops in my water, along with a couple of other oils, just because I like a nice blend. And you can also just add it to a tea as well. Or, I put it in my coffee, whatever I feel like throwing it in. So I just wanted to spotlight that one for you today, because that is what I happen to have in my cup. All right, so to our main topic today about why am I hungry, especially at night, right? A lot of us are dealing with that. And, like I said, we either after dinner, after a long day, right? Or just before bedtime, we tend to get hungry again because it's been a couple hours since we've had dinner. So just get myself more centered here. So I'm sure that you've heard, that you need to stop eating by a certain time, right? And the reason for that is that this nighttime snacking can tend to get out of hand sometimes for us. So if it gets out of hand, what's going to happen? That's going to just throw off our weight loss goals. So, it's going to kind of just throw them out the window. And, we want to talk about, okay, well, then why is this so irresistible? Why is the nighttime snacking? Why are we so drawn to it? And so I want to talk more about why this actually happens for us. And if you have any questions, let me know. Just pop it in the comments for me. I'm happy to answer your questions. There was actually a recent study done in the International Journal of Obesity, and they found that the participants who actually felt more stressed, they actually saw their levels of ghrelin go up. Okay, that's a hormone, and when ghrelin goes up, that tends to rise in the evening. So when people were stressed in this study, hi Gina, good morning. When people were actually stressed out in this study, their ghrelin went up. Okay, it caused it to rise. That's the hunger hormone. All right. And at that same time, their bodies were producing this peptide that we have. And it's a hormone that's actually contributing to our feelings of fullness. So if you tend to feel overwhelmed or exhausted, especially after your long day, then your hormones may be more to blame for this overeating. Okay, sometimes it's not you, but we can help to control our stress, right? There's things that we can do for that, okay? And like if we think back, think way back, back to when our ancestors, they had to hunt and they had to gather, right? So during the day, that actually made more sense to prioritize, going out and to hunt and to forage for food during the daytime when they can actually see what they're doing, right? The sun's up, daylight is out, they can see what they're doing. So when it's dark, it made more sense for them to actually stay close to home and to finally eat what they foraged. Because at that time, feeling stressed probably meant that their survival was threatened. Those were the kind of stressors that our ancestors had. So it makes sense to load up on calories while you can to kind of tide you over if the food source is going to be scarce or just suddenly disappear. So these are all the things that our ancestors had to deal with. And of course, we don't have to worry about that today. We have our kitchens that are just stocked with food. But that means that it's easier to scarf down hundreds of calories that we probably really don't need. And then there's the threat of our work deadline or maybe a child care, all these other stressors that just come into our life that, sometimes we just can't plan for, right? Like maybe your babysitter couldn't make it, and you're ready to walk out the door to go to work. Maybe they canceled again on you, and that's an awful, stressful feeling. It's a little panicky. But the thing with that is it doesn't justify gorging yourself on a pint of chocolate ice cream, okay? And not to mention that eating, like a salty, sugary, or fatty snack, that activates your brain's pleasure center, and it activates it in a big way. So it's hard to find other behaviors that are as rewarding as food. I totally understand that. But you could say that you're maybe going to take a nice bath, and I've even suggested that as a nice option, but the payoff I know isn't as intense or it's not as immediate, okay? But taking the time to actually draw the bath, yeah, it takes a little work, takes a little time, but even just a few minutes of work is so worth it because because instead, like on the other side, like reaching into that bag of chips, yeah, it's practically effortless. But how are you going to feel after? How are you going to feel after a nice, long, relaxing bath compared to how are you going to feel after digging into that whole bag of chips? Good morning, Danielle. How are you? So, and the other thing that I wanted to mention with that is with drawing the bath, how I said, yeah, that takes a little bit of time. But because of that, it gives your craving a chance to go away. Sometimes if we just wait 5-10 minutes, all of a sudden you find that, oh, you know what? I'm not even thinking about it now. I'm not even worried about it. I really don't feel like anything. It gives that, you take that pause, take that moment to go find something else to do, and then it gives it a chance to go away. Sometimes, you might get to that point and you might say, no, I'm still hungry. Okay, if you're truly hungry, if you get to that point and you're like, no, I'm feeling true hunger. Yes, absolutely, eat. But if it's just a craving and it's more in your mind and it's just a habit you've created for yourself, let's create a new habit. Let's go do something else. Let's divert our brain somewhere else. And then it gives you that moment to be like, okay, yeah, you know what? I didn't even want that really. And it does, that does happen. And I've had it happen for clients because they tell me so. I've had it happen to myself. Okay, I wouldn't tell you these things if they didn't work. They may not work for everybody because everybody's different, but it's something, just an option that you can try. So, having that urge to snack at night, it may be a little stronger for people who work like really hard to stick to their healthier habits, especially earlier on in the day. By nighttime, you're worn out, right? You're worn out by the hundreds of choices that you've had to make since you woke up and all that decision making that was going on throughout the day for you. And then all of a sudden you're feeling much weaker. Any decisions that have to be made later in the day, they're not as strong, right? So rather than consciously choosing the carrots, you're relying on autopilot. And now your impulse is to go for the cupcake, okay? So this might make you feel better, yeah, and knowing that, saying maybe if you've said no to the bowl of popcorn or the cookies, maybe it just wasn't you didn't have feeling like you didn't have the willpower. But there are ways that you can create these healthier habits around these times when you are feeling like, oh, I just gotta have it. So rather than just relying on your willpower, because you really don't have to, or feeling guilty, because you don't have to feel guilty either, okay? There might just be some structural changes that you can actually make, okay? So what I actually mean by that is if you can't control your brain, all right, because all of these thoughts and all these patterns are created and they're in our brain, then try to control the cues that are actually feeding it, okay? So a few easy ways to actually do that is, number one, don't restrict yourself during the day. Let's not restrict. Restriction should not even be a thing, and we do it much too often, don't we? Raise your hand. Do you restrict yourself? Do you feel like you can't have a cookie or a brownie or a potato chip or any ice cream because that means you're cheating or you've fallen off the wagon? Okay, that's all forms of restriction when you're telling yourself those things, okay? So make sure, for one, that you're not skipping any meals, okay? You don't want to skip any meals. And you certainly snacks too. If you want to have a snack, don't skip any snacks if you're feeling truly hungry, because I know you're busy. We all get busy throughout the day. And, if you're trying to save up for calories for later too, that's not really a good idea either, okay? Because depriving yourself is just going to directly lead you to overeat at night, okay? Especially when you're tired from your long day, okay? So those are really important. Don't restrict at all. Make sure you're eating your balanced meals and your balanced snack throughout the day. That's going to help get you through your day, keep you energized, and keep that blood sugar nice and stable for you so that you're not really even wanting to snack or have those cravings later on, okay? And maybe if you need to, maybe you've gotten into the habit of just having these nighttime snacks, okay? You've created that habit for yourself. So let's just form a new habit, right? So maybe you're used to having bag of chips, bag of pretzels, whatever, in front of the TV when you sit down in the evening and you watch TV, okay? Maybe just try a different evening activity. It doesn't always have to be sitting down in front of the TV. And make it something that you're not associating with food, okay? Maybe it's just sitting down and reading a good book. Maybe you finally get to that book you've been dying to open up and sit and read and have some me time. Maybe it's going for a walk, whether with yourself or with someone else, just listening to some music that you really enjoy. Maybe you can think of something that you've been wanting to do, that you've been putting off, that you just haven't had a chance to. Anything that feels good to you, just creating that new habit and doing that on a regular basis so that you're just not sitting there mindlessly eating as your habit, okay? You want to create that new habit for yourself. And, of course, if you are going to snack, let's portion them out, okay? Rather than going to the pantry and grabbing the whole bag of chips and going and sitting down with it, or grabbing the carton of ice cream out of the freezer and sitting down with it, let's just portion it out. Pour some chips or ice cream into a bowl, okay? Then you're less likely to eat more than what you would have if you had the whole bag or carton right there in your lap, okay? Because it's important to be really mindful of your portions, all right? That's going to make such a difference for you. So that way you don't end up overdoing it. And instead of munching, like I said, directly out of the box or the bag, just give yourself that serving, all right? And if you can, find a snack that has a mix of good carbs and healthy fats and protein, because what that's going to do, as I just mentioned about balance, that's going to help fill you up and keep you balanced and prevent you from going back into the kitchen for more, because you're going to feel more satiated and more satisfied. Okay, any questions? Let me know. Pop it in the comments for me. I just want to know that everything I'm saying is making sense for you. If you're confused on anything, just let me know. But also, as far as TV goes, let's keep tabs on actually how much TV we're watching. Let's not be so mindless about the TV watching too, because I'm saying this because this can be a powerful cue for us to snack at night. And research has actually shown that the more time that we spend in front of the TV, it often means that unhealthy eating pattern, from what research has shown us. So if you still want to watch TV, maybe set yourself a time limit if possible. Say, okay, I'm going to watch, this many episodes, or I'm only going to watch till this time, and then I'm going to go do something else. Or make it an opportunity to actually practice eating mindfully at the time. If you are going to snack or have something to eat while you're sitting in front of the TV, let's practice some mindful eating. Rather than just sitting there eating mindlessly, let's tune in and be aware of how your body's feeling and how it tastes and the textures and how it's just feeling within your body, because it is a sensory experience, right? So there's your chance, your opportunity to practice some mindful eating. And then if you do, you may realize that you are starting to feel full at a point where maybe if you're just mindlessly eating, you wouldn't have noticed that and you would have gone beyond that point. Okay, so that's why mindful eating can be so helpful for you. And of course, there's, the after dinner and right before bedtime snacking, maybe even when you're not hungry, all right? Which means that you're eating extra calories that your body really doesn't need. And this can just be from boredom or stress, or you're just plain tired. So there's so much importance I put on planning, especially with my clients. My clients, they plan things out, they plan their meals and their snacks. And there's a reason for that, because for one, when you plan all of that, it's going to set you up for success. And so like think about it, like when you go to the grocery store, you want to plan for nutritious meals, including your breakfast and your snacks and, you know, all of the good foods that are going to help get you through your day. Like think of it as something that's going to power you through your day. Okay, it's going to give you fuel, it's going to give you energy, because we want to eat for fuel, right? That's the main point of us eating, so that we can be healthy and have energy. So when you eat a variety of foods throughout the day, just according to your own hunger and your fullness, then you're less likely to overeat at night, okay? But it's a matter of setting yourself up for that success earlier on, maybe even days before, okay? And yeah, it might take a little bit of time, but it's so worth it, because then as the week goes on, you have more of that free time, because all of your foods and meals, they're planned for you. You don't have to think about it. And then you're not having those cravings because you're eating nice balanced meals and snacks, okay? And within those, I'm going to talk again about your protein. Make sure your protein's up there, and fiber. Two of the things that are going to help keep you full and satiated, because protein actually helps keep you full faster and for longer, okay? And that includes things like say for breakfast, for example, you could have some oatmeal with some milk, right? A handful of nuts and some fruit. At lunch, maybe, you know, some peanut butter, which is great, healthy fat and protein. Some tuna is awesome protein right there. Maybe some black beans, some salmon if you like seafood. Unfortunately, I don't. I wish I did, because there's awesome health benefits to it, but that is an option for you if you like that. And these can all help, you know, boost up your protein. Even eggs, hard-boiled eggs, are great to keep in your fridge or take with you for a snack. And at night for dinner, your protein, remember, you want it to be like the size of a deck of cards, just to give you an idea of like what your portion size should be for protein, or even like the size of the palm of your hand, roughly, okay? So you could have, you know, a nice piece of chicken or a nice steak for dinner. Awesome protein, gonna fill you up. You're less likely gonna feel like you need to snack, rather than compared to if you just filled up on carbs for dinner, because that's just going to spike that insulin for you. And then once it goes up, it has to come back down. But the problem with that is it comes back down lower than what it was to begin with. Hi, Father Capaverde, how are you? So when it comes back down lower than it did to begin with, we have to fight to get it back up there. And sometimes that's a struggle, and that's where we get those crazy cravings. And we feel like, okay, I gotta eat right now. Like nothing else matters. I gotta get that insulin, my blood sugar back up to stable, okay? And it's harder at that point, because sometimes we're chasing it, all right? So if you're constantly keeping your meals and your snacks balanced throughout the day, you're not gonna have that roller coaster going on. You're gonna be nice and stable and balanced, and you're less likely to get those cravings, or as many cravings throughout the day, or even later on at night, okay? So does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense for you, if you have any questions. And fiber, of course, I mentioned fiber is going to help fill us up as well. So, you know, it also, you know, it's great. It protects our intestines, and it's great for heart health too, right? So, you know, we can find fiber in things like, you know, our whole grains, legumes and beans and lentils, our veggies, our fruits, nuts and seeds. There's so many good options out there, good, fun, delicious options. And of course, you want to get your sleep, get enough sleep, because this is going to play a role in how hungry you are the next day, okay? If you are sleep deprived, that's going to impair your glucose metabolism, all right? And it's going to affect your hormones that are actually connected with your hunger, all right? So when we get too little sleep, sometimes we can confuse our tiredness for hunger, all right? And if you want to keep your snacking, you know, after you've actually had a balanced dinner, like keep it at bay, that might just be a sign that your body needs some more rest. Adults really should strive for 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. And I know we're not getting that. Father says, I don't know if you spoke about this, but what do we do with Halloween candy that will soon be around the house? If it's such a temptation, it is such a temptation for sure. But if we're eating it mindfully, then that's okay. Just like, with intuitive eating, like you can have anything you want, enjoy anything you want. So yeah, I say that, it's okay to have it, absolutely, regardless of, what it is that you want to eat, whether it's a cookie or a brownie or an apple or chicken or a piece of candy. No matter what it is, we want to just eat it slowly and mindfully and chew it really well. And first of all, just whatever it is, be thankful for the food that's in front of you. And, notice the smells, the textures, the taste, how it looks. All of that is part of mindful eating. So regardless of what you're eating, as long as we eat that way and we eat it when we're hungry, if it's something we feel like we really want, then have it. Because if you don't satisfy yourself with what sounds really good to you, because there's that satisfaction factor that definitely comes into play with intuitive eating. And if you're not satisfied, then you're going to continue to look for something else. Because what happens is a lot of people will deny themselves, but then later on they go crazy on something because they denied themselves and they didn't give themselves that satisfaction. Or they'll try to find like a lower fat version of something that they really wanted, and then later on they're binging because they didn't get what they really wanted. They didn't feel satisfied. So that's why, to me, you know what? If you want the Kit Kat, have the Kit Kat. Not a big deal. Have it. Enjoy it. And then move on. Go on to, continue with your day. If you're someone who you feel like you're just going to go crazy, that takes practice if you want to get to a point where you can eat like that, like giving yourself full permission to eat whatever you want. That takes practice, and you can get to a point where you just, like, knowing that you can have it whenever you want, all of a sudden it becomes less desirable. Okay? So you could tell yourself, okay, I'm going to have this food, this one particular candy bar. I'm going to allow myself to have it whenever I want. You might go crazy on it for a couple days, a week, 2 weeks. But at a certain point, you're going to be like, you know what? I don't think I want this anymore. I think I'm good. And then it just becomes another food. Food is food. Right? How did you know Kit Kat is my favorite candy? Yeah, Kit Kats are good. They are really good. And it was Kennedy actually came home with some Halloween candy from her friend the other day, and she pulled out 2 different Kit Kats. One was a dark chocolate Kit Kat and the other one was a regular. And she wanted to share them with her father and I. She shared them with us. And it was nice. And you know what? I didn't think anything of it. You know what? She wanted to share it. We all had some. And I didn't think like, oh no, I can't have this. I can't have a bite. It's gonna ruin my day, or it's gonna ruin the number on the scale. Like, it's nothing to freak out. I didn't feel bad. I didn't feel shameful. I didn't feel like a bad person. You just have it. You enjoy it. It's part of life, right? We have to enjoy. So there's things in life that we do enjoy. And if that happens to be it, then go for it. But we need to go for it in moderation, where we're honoring our hunger and respecting our fullness. So I hope she comes to the rectory to trick or treat. Yes, absolutely. We're going out. So and I know she's looking forward to seeing you. And she was so excited that you said her name on Sunday. She turned to me and she said, "He just said my name." I don't know if you heard her, but I felt like she was kind of loud. But anyway, yeah, we will be definitely stopping by. Good morning, Angela. How are you? So I hope that made sense as far as, you know what, guys, if you have that candy around, because I know that it's that time of year, don't stress it. Don't stress about it, because think of it as you can have it anytime you want, right? Only if you're someone who feels like you are, not quite sure, if you think you're going to go crazy, then go crazy. Let it happen. It's part of giving yourself full permission to eat whatever you want, whenever you want, so that you can get to a point where it just becomes another food. And all of a sudden you take it down off that pedestal, okay? Because food shouldn't have that power. We have the power. We have the power to make our own decisions and our own choices about how we want to feel in our bodies, right? So you can get to that point if you're not already there. And you can just have it and enjoy it. So that's my advice for you. And if you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out. You know, we can chat more about whatever your own health and wellness or weight goals may be. So one other thing I wanted to mention. Good morning, Suzanne. How are you? One other thing I want to mention, when I talked about TV, say, okay, if you do feel the need to sit down in front of the TV, try to at least eat mindfully while you're there, right? Put your fork down, give yourself a minute, some nice breathing, because when you do that, you're going to have less stress on your digestion. And when you have less stress in your digestion, your whole body is under less stress, okay? When your body's eating under stress, that means that you're going to store a lot of that food as fat. Like, you could eat the healthiest meal on the planet, but if you're eating it under stress, then it's still going to be stored as fat. That's why stress plays a huge role in all of our health and wellness needs and goals. So that's why practicing mindful eating is so important, because it brings you to this nice, calmer, less stressed space for yourself and for your body, and it prepares your body to eat for nourishment and to enjoy whatever is in front of you and to be thankful for what is in front of you and what it's going to do for your body. Okay, and then it's going to process it so much differently, it's going to process it much better for you, and you're going to feel good. You're going to feel so much better as well. So if you feel like you're someone who, like you find yourself binge eating or overeating, or you know, you're just not knowing when you're hungry, like when you feel that hunger, when it's time to actually really truly eat, or you're not knowing when you're to that comfortably full point, and you end up eating a little bit past that, and then you don't feel so good, spend 4 weeks with me, and I can help you to recalibrate your relationship with food and your body, so that you are eating when you're truly hungry, and you're eating until you're comfortably full. Okay, and therefore that means you're not snacking when you're not truly hungry. You're not binging. You're not starving yourself. You're not feeling guilty or shame or bad or any of that, okay? You will just completely transform yourself within 30 days. And then we can change all the aspects of food in your body to what is much healthier, okay? Both mentally and physically for you. And if you have any questions about my 4-week program, just reach out, let me know. Just say I'm interested, or PM me, whatever works best for you. Good morning, Angie. How are you? We're just getting ready to hop off, but go back and catch the replay if you can. A lot of good information about why we get so hungry and want to snack at nighttime. So, are there any questions? Let me know if there's any questions. Pop it in the comments. If not right now, you can still pop it in the comments anytime, and I will get to them for you. But I'm going to hop off, so I hope everyone has a very beautiful day, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, guys.